quick warning, the content in this story gets really graphic more towards the end, but it's a constant theme in the end bit that I kind of talk about a lot. I would just go and watch another video if you're squeamish. Alright, disclaimer out of the way, let me get into the story. This all starts when I was 19 years old and I was with a group of friends out. We were at our little comfort spot that we went to that was near the skate park that we visited quite frequently. We were ultimately deciding on what to do because it was a weekend and we felt like we needed to do something. We had to get out and kind of have some fun and just see who's around and say hello. So that's what we did. We had walked down to the pub and we'd had a few drinks. I was pretty hammered. I was a lightweight at the time, so I was drunk off of 2 beers. I missed the times where I could just get drunk off 2 beers. I actually look back on this and I kind of miss these times, even though the story is really bad and what happens is really messed up. I do just miss the part where I got drunk off 2 beers. And yeah, we had this all going. We had the night up and roaring, and we were getting drunk and we were having a good time. We decided that we needed to keep this up, so we ended up leaving the pub, which was a Weatherspoons, which was just filled to the brim with depressed old men. We were looking for people, that we could relate to and have a good time with. So, yeah, we went off to the nightclub. It was so dirty. This place was horrid, and we queued for like 20 minutes to get into this place. In the queue, we met some other friends, and there was one particular friend in there that I wanted to get to know because she looked really nice and she was really pretty and she had like this really dirty blonde hair and I was just I was starstruck by her beauty and I really liked her and I eventually found her in the club again and we were dancing and we got to kind of know each other through the dancing and I spun her around and she gave me some really nice eye contact throughout this encounter and I was like, yep, I'm gonna get to know her. And that I did. I'd wandered off with her to go out for a smoke because at the time I was getting into smoking. Really bad habit that I regret. I keep bringing this up, and it's a constant thing that happens in these videos or these stories. Is that I'm probably smoking at one point in these stories. It's like just a common thing that happens when I'm out. Or at least it's a common thing that happened when I was out. I don't do it anymore. I don't condone it. Don't do it. It's not nice, and it makes your voice incredibly raspy. So, anyways, I don't know. Okay, wait. As a little side note, I don't know why I didn't even smoke for that long. I smoked for like 5 years, and I know people that have been smoking for 10 years and their voice is fine, but for some reason mine is incredibly raspy from it. Anyways, I'm digressing back onto the story. We're getting to know each other, and we're having a good conversation about where we are at in life, and I'm telling her about my new job at this indoor snow slope at the time, and I was doing really well at this point in my life. And I ask her what she's up to, and she's in uni. She was 20 at the time, and I was 19. And I was with her throughout the entire night after this conversation. This kind of just glued us together. We bonded so well, and I was buying her drinks, and she was buying me some drinks as well to return the favor. Um, the night progresses and progresses, and we're getting more intimate as these things happen, and things are kind of heading a certain kind of direction, if you know what I'm saying. I hit second base. Round of applause. I did it. Now, this is the squeamish part, or at least it's not the squeamish part, but it's kind of where I start to realize that she's a bit of a feisty girl. Now, at the time, I had a little bit of an abscess in my bottom lip, a bean, if you will. She's kind of feeling up this bean in my mouth. She's flicking my mouth bean. She's really going at this abscess. And she starts getting her teeth involved. And she's got very sharp teeth. Like, I felt her teeth really dig in. And I just pushed her off. And I was like, no, that hurts. You can't do that. You know, just leave my lump alone, okay? Leave my little bean alone. Like, that's not nice. So, yeah, she stopped doing it. Then we went home. We started walking back to her place. Well, we didn't end up at her place. We ended up in her common area on the sofa. And she's wearing my hoodie at the time. And it's quite cold. And we get in and, we get to the sofa and we're very intimate. And she's still kissing me. And somewhere along the line, we hit third base. And she's still nibbling me from the inside. She's eating me alive. And I've just accepted it at this point. I told her no twice at this point, and she just kept going. And I gave in like an idiot. The lump that was in my mouth is no longer with me today. And I didn't actually feel it leave my mouth. I think my mouth was so numb at that point because of the alcohol. The alcohol just acted like a life saving painkiller at that point, and it fully relieved me of any kind of pain that the lump leaving my mouth had. Now, I never actually got to communicate with her. I didn't really talk to her after this. I was too nervous to say anything because I thought it would be too awkward for her to really come at this from anything, because the reaction that she had when she saw me in the morning is something that I will never forget. Her face just lit up. She didn't remember anything, but she just saw me and my lips were hot dog buns. She had eaten away at my lips so much that the flesh just wasn't there. Like, they were numb. They were numb with pain, and I couldn't speak. I couldn't even use the lips. I couldn't put them together to form sentences. She got me out of the house. She told me that she was doing uni stuff, and that she didn't have time to, continue on with the day. And she just got me out, and her friends saw me, and they were left with reactions on their face, very confused reactions, and they were just kind of looking at her with very concerned looks. That when I got home, my mum thought that I'd been curb stomped. Genuinely, it genuinely looked like I'd been like dropped on a curb, and I was beaten up. And she was like, "You need to go to the police and report whatever has happened," which is so bad. Getting home in the first place was just the worst. I will never forget taking off that mask that I wore that day, because it was COVID at the time and we all had to wear masks and there was social distancing and all that malarkey. So I got home and I took this mask off and it just stuck to my face. The amount of blood that soaked into the mask was insane. My lips were fully just a wound that was bleeding. She'd eaten my lips. She'd chewed away at the flesh in my lips. Not only the muscle fibers in my mouth, but the flesh on my lips. I didn't even realize that at the time. I was gushing with blood when I woke up, and she just had to dart me out of the house immediately. And yeah, I never saw her again. I didn't contact her. I should have reported this to the police in hindsight because a report filed, even though she might not have been caught, if there was a further conviction with her, they could report this back and there would be further evidence to prosecute. But I highly doubt she would have been submitted to the police about this. I don't think anyone would have gotten the police called on her or any kind of like domestic issue. Maybe I'm getting into this a bit much, but I genuinely hope that she isn't doing this to other men out there. Like, it's not okay, and especially how men don't really talk up about things a lot of the time. I feel like this could have something like this could easily be brushed under the rug again. Now, if you do face anything like this yourself, I do utterly urge you to go and report this. Make a report. They might not do anything. Okay, the police might not go out and find this person, but that's not the point. It's to get a profile on this person. If you get their name and what they've done, they will make a profile, and there will be something on the system. So if it happens again, it can be dated back, and it can be looked at, and it can be involved into that one, and it will be used as evidence. Like I said, I didn't really touch on what happened to my friends. They got home, and yeah, they didn't come back with us. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know if their night went okay. I didn't really check up to find out. I was a lot more focused on kind of recovering because it was a big wound to have to face, and I had to like genuinely just take time to recover from this. I couldn't go to work, and I really couldn't live my life normally. Like, I couldn't talk because of how much like she just pretty much ate my lips. As always, I want to thank you for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye.